So that is the call from the NBC game at the end of the night on the Rodgers pick six. It could be his last pass of his career, which would be fitting. I think his last pass was an interception as a Packer. I think Favre's last pass was an interception as a Packer. So, Rodgers, your last career pass might be a pick six where you olayed the guy right by you and let him score a touchdown.
It wasn't his fault. The guy ran a wrong route. I mean, come on, we all saw it. The wide receiver didn't know what he was doing.
Rodgers,
Can this guy just go away faster?
Maybe the dick could have made a tackle if he wasn't too busy showing up the receiver on the play, throwing his arms up in the air, who knows.
Just what the dick deserves, though, right? I hope to hell this is his last pass in the NFL, and it's a pick six in a playoff game. And Scott, absolutely, Brett Favre, his last pass as a Packer, well, that was the Corey Webster interception that led to Tynes' game-winning field goal in the 2008 championship game. Never forget that.
Yeah. So we are the Three Angry Giant Fans and a Jet Fan podcast. Your host, Scott, Giant Mike, Cardone, and Angry Jets fan Novak. And we watched Super Wild Card Saturday out. Great slate of games this week until the last two. And we'll get into all of that. We'll talk about possible coaching moves that are happening. We'll talk about predictions, and we got some pet peeves and questions. But let's give a shout out first. And this one's for those minor league lovers. This is a good one. So hello, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Population 75,000. It's named for the Algonquin word for river fall, and it's known for having the largest concentration of textile mills in the late 1700s, early 1800s. It is, however, I didn't know this until I looked it up, no longer the home of the Red Sox minor league squad that moved to Worcester years ago. It was, and this is going to date me a little bit, the home of Irving R. Levine. If you guys remember him, he's the news guy that would always sign off with, "This is Irving R. Levine." He was like an NBC guy.
Don't know him.
No. I'm the only guy that knows this.
I guess.
Yeah, I know the name, but I don't remember where from.
I think he used to wear a bow tie, look like a complete dork.
If you had mentioned Lloyd Lindsey Young, the old weather guy.
Yeah.
That's where my hello comes from.
No kidding. I know.
Hello. Yeah.
That guy was the best.
I wonder where he was from. Maybe that would be a good shout out. Home of Lloyd Lindsey Young, who invented hello.
Who invented the shout out.
It would be good to look up where he was from.
Pawtucket is always portrayed on Family Guy. That's how I think of the Pawtucket Sox.
Yeah.
Peter Griffin's always going to a Pawtucket Sox game. In fact, I think one of the episodes I watched last night, he was at a Pawtucket Sox game.
So, as I mentioned before, wild card weekend for the first time in a long time. Great slate of games. All but two of the games were exciting. The last two were letdowns. And the first 5 games of the week, this is a great stat. The teams trailing at the 2-minute mark won the game.
Wow.
Oh, shit. Wow.
So we saw a lot of comebacks. I mean, you saw the Rams come back against the Panthers. You saw the Bears come back against the Packers late, and then that continued on into Sunday in the game. So San Francisco scored on a late touchdown to McCaffrey. Just guys, you normally don't see that first week. It's usually a blowout city. They try to pump everything up. This time, the results spoke for themselves. There were some exciting games, some exciting plays. Saw some players emerge, like we were talking about it coming on before the podcast, Caleb Williams with his 4th down pass. I mean, there's some guys now that are starting to make a name for themselves just based on the playoffs.
Yeah, continuing a trend throughout this year of these games with manufactured endings. I don't like to immediately go negative on what was a great wild card weekend and fun games to watch, but I mean, that's been the theme of this year, and it continued right on into the playoffs. I mean, the game it's even been since we've been doing this podcast, guys. The game has changed right before us. It's a possessions game now. At the end of the game, it's like a basketball game. Every fourth quarter is the same in these games.
Yeah, and we've talked about it a lot this year. We really need to get some consistency around the calls of defensive holding and illegal contact, because those things get thrown out so often to change a possession that we even saw it this weekend. There were a couple defensive holds, a couple illegal contacts called that kept drives going, that left those games close. And fortunately, at least the ones I saw, it didn't benefit the teams that ended up winning. But from crew to crew, you never know who's going to call what.
As I'm watching these games, which were great games, like you said, Scott, the Giants and Jets, they're in the same league. They're in the same league as what of these teams that played over the weekend. That'll occasionally cross my mind. And then I just quickly laugh it out of my head. Just like we're so far away from anything that resembles any of this. If we want to just throw in, I know we're not going to talk about the Giants and Jets tonight because it's absolutely pathetic, useless, and not necessary. But unless it's a coaching,
we're going to talk about the coaching.
Yeah. I do think about that, Cardone. It's funny you say that because I was watching the Patriot game and I remember thinking to myself, I wonder if any of these guys are going, 7 days ago we were playing the fucking Jets and just like beating their ass. Or no, it was the Bills. Sorry, it was the Bills. Either way, and right? Like no one's thinking about what was going on. Not even a week ago, they were wiping the floor with us, and now they're in this game. But I will say, NFL, yet again, the NFL is king. It knows what it's doing. We can trash them. We can say that there's things going on that they don't mean to do in officiating. We can complain about it all we want. They're king. And they know what they're doing because, again, the country is thirsty for it. And the ratings this weekend will be off the charts.
Yeah, it will be.
Oh, listen, there's a lot of things broken and dysfunctional about the league, but the four of us can attest to this. I mean, we love watching it. We love tuning in. I can't wait for this weekend's games. Think about this, guys. More often than not, again, what's the saying? Love to hate the stuff I love, right? Coined by my son, Cole. And I'm usually disgusted by most things that go on, but then I can't, I want to watch every single play. I don't want to miss a play of teams that I really don't care who wins or loses most of these games. Yep. I got a few here and there that obviously the neutral outcomes that you want certain teams. It's usually I just try to prevent the teams I don't want to win is all we have left at this time of the year. But yeah, man, again, the NFL, it's absolutely king, and it's going to be another 4. At least on paper and on matchups, it looks like another great weekend this weekend. So I can't wait to watch these games.
And the regular season was a disaster, in my opinion. We had so many bad teams. He was very top heavy of the league. All of that's forgotten now because of this past weekend. It's all gone. No one's going to remember it. Everyone's going to remember Super Wildcard Weekend. I think the games this weekend will be great. I think the championship games are going to be great. Super Bowl will probably be a dud, but it's going to be great. And all of that goes away and they win again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cardone, to your point, I'm staying up on the Sunday night game and the Monday night games, which were the worst 2 games of the weekend. And I'm watching Justin Herbert picking himself up on the turf with a minute left. And I'm watching the Dick throw a pick 6 at the end of the game and getting pulled and everything else.
So it's like, six? They call that a Dick 6?
A Dick 6. I'm glad you said that because I wrote that down earlier today. The Dick pick 6. Well, dude, everything's so magnified in the playoffs, right? It's you become legendary or you become a fraud, like Justin Herbert. I mean, I don't know how much we want to talk about individual performances, but there's a couple of guys that I wanted to talk about, Scott, and just a few individual performances. And obviously, I know he's behind an offensive line. I'm just talking about the Chargers, the Clippers, whatever. He's behind a horrific line. But can we stop with the fucking Justin Herbert narrative right now? I'm done with that guy. I'm done with him.
They consistently mentioned as a top 4 quarterback in the league. I don't see it.
Yeah, and they said during the game, they kept going, Justin Herbert is doing his best to keep the Chargers in this game. At what point were the Chargers in that game? What I kept seeing is like Herbert would make 1 or 2 good runs, and then he'd make a boneheaded play, or he'd take a sack.
A few years ago, Joe Burrow made the Super Bowl with an absolute sieve as an offensive line.
Yeah,
right?
Great call, Novak. That's a great one. Yeah, great call.
And we're going to say that Herbert is in that category? He's not.
Yeah, no.
No. That's a great point.
No.
Yeah, there were a couple of individual performances there. I mean, the the Dick didn't really come under fire in that game. I maybe because they knew it was going to be his last game, but the Steelers as a whole, just when I watched the Houston defense, I
Hmm.
start to think to myself, this is what they mean when defense wins championships, and it's even true in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they'll win a championship. I don't know if they'll even win next week because that Patriots Texans game has the prospect of being a 14-13 thriller, which we will enjoy. The rest of the NFL world might not. But guys, that defense, they gave up 3 turnovers because CJ Stroud played like crap, and they still gave up 3 points on those 3 turnovers.
Yeah. They're good, man. The
They are.
defense is really, really good. The offense is probably not ready for prime time, but this defense still does win. I mean, the Broncos play really good defense. The Patriots play pretty good defense. The Seahawks can be lights out. So of the teams that are left, there's some good defensive representation there. I do agree that Houston, in my mind, is the best of it, but their offense is also the worst offense still playing. So
Yeah,
I
found myself just barking at Stroud throughout the night. I mean, a couple of those turnovers that he had, and what was going on? The guy was dropping the ball left and right, just under, just in shotgun formation, and I was like, was he just nervous? I mean, he's played in a playoff game before, so that couldn't be the case. You would figure. Yeah. But that defense, holy crap, man! What a luxury to have a defense like that, right? And we don't see a lot of defensive stops. We talk about it all the time. It's back and forth, up and down, offensive. It's all about offense showing their prowess, and it's just nice to see in a playoff game a defense where you just can't move the ball against this team. I mean, Pittsburgh just looked helpless and hopeless a couple times in that game, and even when it was before it got out of hand in the fourth quarter, I was thinking. It doesn't matter. I mean, before even the fumble return, right? On the fumble 6 that Houston got.
Sheldon Rankins. Yep.
Yeah. No, I was thinking even before that. I'm like, how's Pittsburgh going to drive the length of the field on this team? It didn't seem possible.
It seemed like it was weird. Every time that Rodgers dropped back, it was almost like a suction cup. Like they were on like it was like swallowed in there, and like within seconds, and there was nothing that guy could do. And I loved every second of it because he blamed everyone under the sun for wrong routes, bad plays, poor coaching, bad officiating, everything but himself, of course, on his last day out.
Yeah, offensive line, the defense. I mean, you name it.
Yeah, and I wonder what his future is now that Tomlin has said goodbye. I walk away.
He's just going to go into a hole with his fake wife and be done.
His wife from Canada.
They actually asked that question in the post conference. They asked a question. He goes, "I'm not going to answer that. I've answered that a number of times." And they said, "What are you going to do now?" And he said, "Well, we're going to take some time to reflect." And it's like, "Yep, he's going to go to the darkness retreat. There's his time for reflection."
Good.
Yep.
Go to the retreat and don't come back. Just disappear, man.
Reflect all you want. No one's going to want you because you sucked. And you looked every bit of 44, 42, whatever he is.
You guys got anything else from the games that were played?
No, just the same old shit. Coaches not kicking field goals, going for it on fourth down when they shouldn't. It happens so often. I usually, like when we come on here for our week, I usually have a couple written down or some turning points. There's so many now. I can't even keep track of them. Can't keep track of them anymore. I can't keep track of them within as I'm watching the game.
I thought it was funny Monday night. The Steelers on one of their first drives, they opted for the field goal on a 4th and 2. And the announcers were like, whoa, on a 4th and 2 here. This is where we normally see teams go for it. I'm like, why would you kick the points? And I think a little bit later, even in that game, Houston, or maybe it was the Steelers again. The Steelers got a fumble and they decided to go for it on 4th and 2, and they missed it this time. And I thought to myself, why not? You got a turnover. Those are free points. Whether it's 3 or 7, take the points.
Yeah, that was flip-flop, Scott. The score was 0-0 in that game. Pittsburgh got a turnover, took it down, got a 4th and 2, went for it, and didn't get it. So that breaks everything I believe. I couldn't believe Tomlin did it. It made me think, man, do I want Tomlin? because that was everything I believe in. You got to get points off a turnover if you can. Score the first points of the game. Take the lead. I mean, you name it. That was a field goal situation. They got back in the same situation later and kicked the field goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
But I think we saw in every game at least one fourth down where the team could have taken points and didn't get it, or vice versa, where they got it. Like, I think there was one sequence where the Steelers picked up a fourth down and then still had to kick a field goal later on.
Yeah.
The one that bothered me the most, and this team, they ended up winning the game, but was when LA, with a 17-7 lead, 137 left to go in a half. We're on Carolina's 19, a 4th and 3, not fourth and an inch,
Yeah.
4th and 3. So you're talking about a 37-yard field goal, and McVay doesn't take the fucking 3 points and go up 20-7 there. And then what happened? Carolina came down in a minute and a half and punched it in at the other end of the field, and now it's 17-14 instead of 27, possibly going to the half. It's maddening, guys, right? We say it all the time. That one just stuck in my head. And I don't know why, because the Rams ended up, of course, going on to win the game. But that particular play, I thought, was absolutely just beyond absurd, because he's a guy who usually kicks the field goal and takes the points. I was really surprised that he didn't grab that field goal there. 38-yarder. Come on, man.
You know, the Rams won that game, but the Rams won that game in the final 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So, they could have had a lot easier chance there. I mean, I don't get why these coaches hate field goals anymore. It's almost like a field goal is a loss.
Yeah. Well, that mentality has been being spread by announcers and football pundits for years. And for most of that time, coaches just sort of ignored it. They've been telling us for years, you can't kick field goals in this game. Meanwhile, teams kicking field goals all over, winning playoff games, whatever. But all of a sudden, the introduction of analytics, and we've talked about it ad nauseum on here, once the coaches kind of realize, if I screw this up, I don't have to answer for it.
Yeah.
Once they figured that out, it's been game on, because they do not get criticized at all.
No.
Not even, it used to be that the announcers would stay kind of silent, and then the minute the fourth down play didn't work, they'd go, I had to kick the field goal there. That was a bad decision, Bill. But now they don't even do that. If I still would have gone for it there, you got
to take a chance, because field goals don't win games, is what they say a lot of times. It's like, or they'll say that the coach, whoever that coach is, well, let's just say Tomlin. Tomlin realizes in this game field goals aren't going to win the game, so he's got to go for it here.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing that was so criminal about Tomlin. Who didn't expect that to be a low-scoring, close game? And you pass up 3? That's nuts.
Yeah.
I just looked at something. Go ahead, Novak.
No. Go ahead, because keep going on this.
No, I kind of related, but I was just looking at the box scores from definitely the first 4 games, not the last 2, but the fourth quarter. Have you guys seen the total points in the fourth quarter for the Rams Panthers? 28 in the Bills Jaguar game. That was 28 in the Bear Packer game. 31.
Oh my God.
This is just fourth. These are combined points in the fourth quarter, without giving you the sequence of who scored. Look at those fourth quarters, and then 16, which is still a decent amount in this, San Francisco and
quarter,
Philly.
sure.
San Francisco, that's all just the fourth quarter. That's wild.
And Houston scored a pile of points in the fourth quarter.
And Houston scored
too.
a ton, right?
Yeah.
So which ended up being a blowout, but 28, 31, and 16, which is that's pretty high scoring too. San Francisco had 13 of those points, but I was thinking about that today, and then I just looked at the box scores while we were talking here. It's pretty wild that these fourth quarters are just it's just awesome, actually. But it's just
I have to admit, it's fun.
Yeah,
it is. It actually is. I know.
And
we've talked about it. We've complained about it with the refereeing and all that. I don't want to get into refereeing again, but the NFL is setting it up for that. I mean,
for sure.
They just definitely are. Now, whatever happens in the fourth quarter happens, and I don't think they're fixing anything, but I do think they're setting it up for these late fourth quarters. The one thing I did want to point out, we talk about individual performances. So I'll forget the defense because the Texans are just ridiculous on defense. Are there two better offensive players in this league? And Cardone called it Puka Nacua. I mean, good God,
Nakua.
this guy. And is there a more important player for one team in your life than Josh Allen?
Yeah, maybe
I
not.
mean, come on. Think about the history of all these teams that you've ever watched. That team, if you look at that talent, has no business being in the divisional round. None. If he's
How
off that
about-
team, that's a 4-win team.
By the way, have any of us seen a 11-yard tush push?
Only he could do it.
We thought that the tush push maybe got killed earlier this year. That play might have killed the tush push. That's one of the things like people have been afraid of. And I've said, shut up. That doesn't happen. They're like, why don't you just pick him up and carry him 11 yards? Well, there it was.
That's it. Yeah, man. When they show the replay, you kind of got the sense like, wait a minute, was he just picked up by his lineman? And then you show the replay, I'm like, he absolutely was.
By the way, isn't that still illegal?
It's supposed to be.
Apparently not.
I thought it was illegal. I thought it was illegal to pick a guy up, though.
It's supposed to be illegal. I don't know. Hey, can we talk about that the Bills being down there at the goal line and the Jags having no timeouts? Like, so there's a lot of debate about should they have obviously needing a touchdown,
letting him get in.
Should they have punched it? No. Should the Bills have actually just fallen at the 1-inch line, killed another like 30 seconds? This was one that really tough, right? Because now it didn't matter. Obviously, Lawrence threw an interception, I think, on the first down coming
very
on
first
the
play.
final.
Very first play.
So, but I was thinking as he's down there, I'm like, holy shit, what do you do here? Because they needed a touchdown. They were down by 4, right? So that was tough. That was one where my first instincts, I'm like, holy shit, maybe you just fall down, not go backwards. Remember, that was my pet peeve last week about losing yards. In that situation, though, do you just fall right down? And I don't know. What do you guys think? Did you guys think about that when you were watching it?
We're Giant and Jets.
Touchdown.
Yeah, we're Giant and Jets fans. So in my mind, you do that on first down or whatever. You get to the 1-inch line, and then all of a sudden you have a false start.
Yep.
That's what I was going to say too.
Of course.
I mean, I guess you could say if you've got Josh Allen, he's not going to not get 1 yard. I mean, he did it how many times during that game? The only thing is what Scott said. What if, God forbid, false start, and you go back 5 yards?
I know.
Now all of a sudden it's the game is not over.
How do you forgive yourself for that then at that point if you don't punch it in? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's
that
a
was
real
my
tough
thing.
call.
I mean, I would take knees and kick a field goal all day if a field goal would have got it done. Absolutely. But when you need a touchdown, you got to take it. I mean, you just got to take it. I think I was one of the few who, like, when Eli tried to get Bradshaw not to go into the end zone in the last Super Bowl the Giants ran, and Bradshaw, remember, famously fell backwards into the end zone. I was relieved. I did not want them to take a knee at the 1 because I was just like, how is this going to bite us? How is this going to bite us?
The only difference over there, again, Mike, there's that a field goal won it for the Giants there. So that's the only. Well, that's the major difference. But I'm on the same thought process there too. Where like it's so hard to not just take the points and get the lead, and then because I've said it on our pod many times, and you guys have heard me say it like when we're hanging out, like. Coming back the other way, why do we automatically have to assume that the fucking defense can't stop somebody? You send 11 defenders out there, like just stop them. Why is it always like, oh, they left too much time? Bullshit. So I can't play both sides of the coin either because I've said it many times where like, no, man, just stop somebody.
Yeah.
So
well, because of the new kickoff rules, you're getting the ball at the 30-35, right? I mean, back in the old days. You get the touchdown, you kick it into the end zone, and you get it at the 20. 80 yards is a hell of a lot different than 40. And these guys can kick 65 freaking yard field goals, especially this Cam Little guy or whatever his name is.
Oh, God, yeah.
But if I were the Jaguars, he did the right thing by letting them score.
I think
yes,
in my
100%.
mind, if a field goal loses you the game, I would maybe have thought about that strategy. But with it just tying the game to send it to overtime, I think you have to score there. I mean, you have to do that, and like you said, rely on your defense. But if it only put them up by 1 or 2, that's a really good point, Cardone. Because if that happens, the odds are you're probably going to lose, at least in today's NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mentioned basketball earlier. how it is really similar to basketball. I mean, you just like basketball, you pretty much get half court for free, right?
Mm.
Teams don't normally play the full court press. They back up into prevent
You
until you get
follow
the
the guy.
yeah, yeah, you might foul a guy and then the offense, I mean, we're to the point where, leaving 16 seconds is too much time. So the offense just sort of dribbles the ball, letting the clock go down a little bit. We're watching a basketball game at the end. I'm waiting for the organ to start showing up during football. Da, 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 da.
Like Madison Square Garden, Knicks.
Yeah.
So outside of the games in the playoffs that we just saw, there are now 9 teams looking for coaching. There's 9 openings. The 9th one opened up when Tomlin decided that he was going to step down. Giants interviewed John Harbaugh today. He did leave the building without getting a contract, which a lot of people are flipping out over the whole statement. He left the building. But Harbaugh had said all along, he's not only going to see the Giants, he's going to interview with the Falcons, he's going to interview with the Titans. There's still Stefanski out there. There's still a lot of openings out there. I don't think any have been filled yet. But Mike McDaniel was fired from the Dolphins. It's going to be a crazy, I think, 2-week period here. And if no one gets hired, prior to the Super Bowl, it'll be a real crazy period that week after the Super Bowl. But Harbaugh, I think is still the odds-on favorite to be the Giants coach, and I still think Harbaugh is going to be a Giant.
Agree.
I think so too. Novak and I were talking a little bit before you guys came on, and this is the most biased thing I'm going to say on this podcast tonight. And I know Atlanta win-loss record-wise over the past 15 years, they've been a better franchise than us, obviously. But I don't know how, if you're John Harbaugh, how you look at the Atlanta Falcons and the New York Giants, current rosters, history, just being a tentpole franchise in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe those things don't matter to him. I don't know. But to me, this is like, really, we're fighting with the Atlanta Falcons over a coach. Like, give me a break. This is how far we've fallen. That we're being weighed against the Atlanta Falcons. It's just me. If we have any Falcons fans listening, I'm sorry, but it's just honestly the way I feel. So.
I guarantee you we don't have any Falcons fans listening, because there's probably 5 of them.
That's another thing. Yeah. A shitty fan base, shitty stadium. Come on.
Cardone, you were going to say something?
I'm just never optimistic about this stuff. You guys know how I am, man. I'm a believe it when you see it kind of guy. I just am. I mean, I think, yeah, it always, and listen, when coaches like Harbaugh are going around interviewing, most often the reports are going to be, you know how this stuff works. I mean, it's just, they're going to make it seem like, oh, it's a done deal, and everything is pointing to the Giants, and then so, and it doesn't. There's always wrinkles behind this stuff. We have no idea what goes on in these closed door meetings, obviously, and what's really reported, what's real, what's not. I just don't know. I mean, I guess I have my own question for us. Like, what at this point, what blows it for the Giants? Like, if you're Harbaugh, like what would blow it for the Giants? That they, is it Shane, or like what if Harbaugh, I keep saying Harbaugh takes a job elsewhere and he does not take the Giants. Like, what's the factor? What's the deciding factor? What is unappealing about this position?
I don't know
this job with the Giants.
I don't think anything's unappealing about the Giants. I would have 2 concerns, and I think Harbaugh's going to get the job, just so we're clear. I'd say 90% he's there. There are 2 things. One, Arthur Blank is a bit of a wild card, and that guy, talk about someone being absolutely loaded, right? The Giants could offer him $20 million a year. There's no salary cap on coaches. Who's to say he doesn't go down to Atlanta and the CEO of Home Depot says, "I'll give you $50 million."
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to do that.
And $20 million to hire assistants.
Exactly.
And pick your own GM.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. Someone could be like so desperate to win, which he probably is, and that guy's a wild card. He could offer him the world that the Giants can't, because there is a GM. They're not going to pay him $25 million. They just won't. So there's that. The only other thing with the Titans that I think people have said, which everyone forgets about. They have the most money under the cap in the league, and they have a new stadium coming up. But so other than those factors, I think he's a Giant.
I think he's
You're
a
right.
Giant because you always kind of find in these situations that, especially in these last few years with the media the way it is, it's like, okay, something like this goes down and there's an immediate favorite, right? And in this case, it's the Giants. It was immediately like, oh my gosh, he's going to the Giants. Everyone said. And then as the 24-hour 365 news cycle starts, it's, well, maybe he likes Atlanta. Maybe he likes Houston. Oh, if Pittsburgh opens up, wouldn't that be? And it's just everybody's wishful thinking and writing something controversial, put in the paper. And then when all the chips fall at the end, it's where he originally said he was going. And it's, that just happens so often.
And you hear analysis like based on nothing. Like I heard someone talk about the connection that he has to the Rosses down in Miami, and they said, well, the weather in Miami is a lot better than it is in New York.
Oh,
the guy coached in Baltimore for what, 19 years?
Get out of
If
here.
that mattered to him, he wouldn't have been coaching at Baltimore.
I mean, he would have been running to the Green Bay job. Who the hell wants to be in that weather? I mean, weather, that's stuff is so now state tax is an issue, right? Because there's no state tax in Florida, but there is in New York. So things like that. And I said about the 40 million. Obviously, the Falcons won't do that because he would just cause a shit stir with the rest of the owners if he did that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think that would happen. But again, I think Arthur Blank's a wild card.
That's a good call.
Yeah, it's a good
He is
call.
a wild card.
He is.
I couldn't agree more. If he's not a Giant, there's two things. If this all flushes out, he's not a Giant. It's two things. It's Arthur Blank and Joe Shane. That's who I blame it on.
I've said it all along that I think Joe Shane's an issue because it's not like he's done a great job. And if you're a coach with that much cachet, why do you got to listen to this guy? I know they say, oh, you'll get final say. Well, maybe I want all say. Why do I got to listen to this clown? It's not like he's done a great job over the last 4 years. He sucked. He's probably the worst in the league.
I will say this. The Giants have had Harbaugh in now for two visits, one unofficial. I think Mara went and took him to lunch or had him over to his house for lunch and then had him in the facility today. And I guarantee you part of those discussions are, if you don't like Joe Shane, we will replace Joe Shane.
That's the other thing Novak and I were talking about.
Yeah.
I hope so.
How about listening to your lifelong fucking fan base and your 80,000 season ticket holders? We don't like Joe Shane. Does that matter, Maris? Who's more important?
If it comes down to it, I will be Cousin Eddie and go and grab him from his happy slumber on and wrap him up and bring him to my house.
Instead of handing out medium Pepsis for Giants season ticket holders after going 3-14 the last two seasons, get rid of fucking Joe Shane and hire the best available coach out there in the league. Not just available, he's one of the best coaches in the league, period.
Yeah, if we have to pay Harbaugh $25 million, we ain't getting any free medium Pepsis.
Fine, make it a small.
That's going to come right out of the
small diet
Pepsi.
Out of Save the sugar.
The free Pepsi budget.
So before we move on, I didn't know where else to put this tonight, but a bit of weird news from a past Giant that was sort of a bit player. If you guys remember Sam Beal, I think he was our compensate or I think we took him in the compensatory draft from Cincinnati. He was a cornerback. He's been missing for 9 months. So last seen in Virginia Beach.
Just
whereabouts unknown. I think he's
parts unknown, like a
like
1980s wrestler.
He's like George the Animal Steele.
Yeah.
And I joke about this. The guy's probably dead, but it's like he's been missing for 9 months now.
That's crazy.
They found his car at the beach, filled with sand and his flip flops, and he wasn't in it. So
he walked out into the water.
I was gonna make a witty comment, but you just said he's probably dead, so now I can. Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, Scott made that tough.
Jeez.
Because I was gonna say my takeaway from that story is that Scott obviously hasn't been drinking because he pulled off compensatory without a hitch right there.
Well, he hasn't gotten the questions yet, so we don't know.
It's not a bowling night. So
just pulled off compensatory like he says it every day, man. Just woo.
Yeah.
So, Mike, I'll turn it over to you for predictions.
Predictions and picks. Well, we have a developing story in the picks. Novak and I are perfect in the wild card round for
shit.
picks.
Okay.
We went 6-0 in the wild card round. Cardone went 5-1, only missing the Eagles because he couldn't see it. That was it. He bought the 49er win. That's your one. That was worth it. And then Cost did pick Green Bay, which looked like he had, for all the world, for 3.5 quarters, looked like he was going to get one up on us. And the Bears came back, and Scott also picked Philadelphia. So Scott is 4-2. So we will start with the top of the order here. How do you want to do that, Novak? You and I started last week since we finished it last. So actually, I think you started last week. You want me to start this week?
I actually do. Go for it.
Okay. All right. We'll do it. All right. So Buffalo at Denver, right, is the first game of the weekend.
Yes.
Man, I agree with whoever Novak just said that Josh Allen is this team. They don't do much else well. I also happen to think the Broncos are a year early to be the number 1 seed, at least a year early, and maybe several years early. I as you guys know all year, I'm not a believer in Bo Nix. I think Josh Allen magic continues one more week in a really good game, 23-22.
This, for me, was the hardest game to pick by far. My heart really wants to pick Josh Allen and the Bills. I do think Allen is a little banged up. I don't like this Buffalo defense. And for me, in a game that's this close at this point in the season, I think it comes down to coaching, and I think Sean Payton is significantly better than Sean McDermott. So I'm going to take the Broncos in a very close game, 27-24 over the Bills.
We'll go with Cardone.
Yeah, this one, a lot of these games are tight and tough to pick, in my opinion. And same thing, guys. I'm leaning. I want to go with Allen and Buffalo. It's you guys we've already said it. Josh Allen, the guy, just I want this guy to win a championship.
Yep.
You know, I don't care about too many other teams other than my Giants, but the Bills. I've been kind of pulling for this team for the last couple of years. Thought maybe this was the year. They were my preseason prediction to make it to the Super Bowl, Buffalo. But Novak, you just said what I was going to say. These kind of games, Sean Payton usually comes up with a crazy game plan. They've had the extra bye week or the only bye week to kind of to plan whether that has a big difference or not. Buffalo's on the road again. Denver's just a tough place to play. I got Denver winning a close one also, 27-23. So almost identical score to Novak. But yeah, I got Denver, and I got the 1 seed moving on.
And for me, this is going to touch upon my pet peeve, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But I was surprised last week that the Josh Allen-led Bills were able to beat that juggernaut of a team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who should probably have been undefeated based on the comments Tony Romo made.
Can we get in Tony Romo later? Because
that's going to be my pet peeve.
Okay,
yeah,
fine.
That's my pet peeve. So yeah. So I am taking the Bills here. I too predicted the Bills in the preseason in our live pod, and I'm taking the Bills to win this game 24-13.
24-13. Well, we all agree that the Bills are going to score 23 or 24 points. Who's going to win the game? Who's going to win the game is a coin flip for us. Yeah. All right, 49ers and Seahawks. Man, I like this 49er team. My new brother-in-law is a 49er fan, so I've kind of been paying attention to the 49ers more than usual. And I like this team. I just think they're going to run out of gas here. Seattle at home is tough. And I know Denver at home is tough too, and I went against that. But, Seattle has shown very few chinks in the armor, especially as the season is wound down. I think the 49ers just going to run out of gas. I still think they're the best coach team in the NFL. I love Kyle Shanahan. But I think Seattle at home has enough to get by the depleted 49ers, which I'm also sick of hearing about how depleted they are, by the way. But I've got the Seahawks winning this 24-16.
We're gonna be so close on all this stuff. Yeah, you said exactly what I was gonna say. The Niners are just, in my opinion, too banged up. They did what I wanted them to do, which was
Yeah.
kick the Eagles to the curb.
Yeah.
Shanahan's just the best. I just don't know how he's got any of the horses left to do this. So I'm going to take the Seahawks. I have it 23-17. So, but I like the Seahawks here.
Yeah, I'm on the same theme here. You got a rested Seattle team. It's a tough place to play up there, even though San Francisco, only already on the West Coast out there. But Seattle, their defense is going to. If you remember the last game of the year, last regular season game of the year that decided the 1 seed and the division guys, it was like a 13-3 game. Seattle's defense was just, man, they were just balls out, right? I think we're going to see much of the same from the Seattle defense. So I think San Francisco's going to have trouble putting points up. I got a low-scoring game. I also think on the other side, Sam Darnold, right? He's one of those guys that we like to knock and mock and all that. I think Darnold has a good game. I really do. I think he plays, call it what you want, game manager kind of game. But I think, he had the early exit last year in a Viking uniform. I think Darnold has a sound game. Doesn't put up a ton of points, but I think he does more than enough for Seattle to get the win. It's kind of low scoring. I got Seattle 20-13.
Yeah, I'm sort of on board with the rest of you. I will say I'm going to be sad because we probably will see a lot of Salah in this game, but it might be the last Salah we get. There was a ton of Salah in the last game. Especially, I don't know if you guys saw at the end of the game, there was more fixation on Salah than there was on Shanahan. So we got solid Salah for 5 seconds.
Can we let our listeners know about the new version of Salah that I created?
The unintended Salah?
Unintended Salah. That means if the camera's not on him, but his mug is in the background or something, that's also another drink.
Photo bomb Salah.
Or also, if there's a player, or they're trying to get Salah, and there's like a player or a coach
standing in front of him,
obscured Salah.
Obscured Salah. We know what they're trying to do.
Obscured Salah. You can see his bald head behind the guy. I love when the camera's trying to fixate on a guy, and there's like 3 people in front of the guy, and the camera just doesn't move, or they can't get a different angle. It's awesome.
I had 3 of our listeners text me during that game going, "Oh my God, I'm hammered right now." So it's like, we got people playing along with us. They love the Salah game.
They went nuts on Salah in the second half of that thing.
So I like having Salah around, but there's always one story in every playoffs of a team like the 49ers. They're gamers, but they're hurt. And in the playoffs, you just can't pull that off. Maybe in a regular season game, you can do it. And I don't think, contrary to what Cardone believes, I don't think Darnold's going to play particularly well. But I think that this is going to be similar to that 13-3 game that we just saw, where Salah got a lot of airtime in a game that they lost by 10. But I think this will be a 17-10 win for the Seahawks.
17-10. This next game here is Texans-Pats, and I got a funny story about this. So when I'm doing the scores, I actually, before we come on air, I write my scores in. That way I don't let y'all change my mind, which has happened from time to time. But it's funny because I wrote my score in, and then Scott kind of was talking about this Texans-Patriots game earlier. He's like, we're going to get like a 14-13 slugfest. My score is Pats 14, Texans 13 for that game. I looked down when he said it. I'm like, that's exactly what I picked. So yeah, I just think the Texans run out of offense here, but they play an amazing game on defense, but just not quite. The Pats do just enough to sneak by 14-13.
I am going to go with my heart here because I cannot, like the Eagles for you guys, I cannot take the Pats in the AFC Championship. I watched that post game with, was it Anderson and Shakir? 2 of the Houston guys. The confidence in that team is just so high. Mm-hmm. They just seem relaxed, like they're going to come out and kick your ass the next week. And I think they will do that. So I'm going to take the Texans 17-14 over the Pats.
Nice. Love to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a tough one. I went back and forth. I think a couple times in my head, and then same thing like you guys. I write the scores down right before we come on, and just try to give my what I think is going to happen, of course, opinion. And yeah, this is a tough one. Houston, God, I mean, you can't say enough about the defense, right? I mean, I'm obviously just going to repeat what we're already talking about here. It's certainly going to be a low-scoring game, but I just have a feeling I want to go with my heart. I want Houston to win this game. I'll be rooting for Houston, but as far as my picks and who I think will end up moving on by the time the game ends, it's going to be New England. I just think New England. It comes down to, for me, to quarterback play. Like Drake May really is that good. He just is.
He is.
And I think if you look at just the quarterbacks, and I know May is going to be playing against a Texan defense, but I have a feeling that Vrabel and that staff will come up with a game plan to quickly get the ball out, and they'll be doing things to make sure that he's not harassed as much as the Houston can get after him. So, and Houston, I don't trust C.J. Stroud to score enough up there in New England with the home field. A lot of very similar score. New England 17-13. That's
we're
crazy.
all right around.
We did not collaborate before we did
not.
this, so we did not.
No
This is
collaboration here.
No, we did not. We're just coming on with our own scores. It just so happens they're almost identical.
I think there's two teams in these playoffs that I won't say are pretenders, but they aren't as good as people are giving them credit for. And one of them is the Patriots. The other one is the Bears. I think that the Patriots have gotten by an easy schedule this year. Drake May has played well. And the other thing that you see in the playoffs, too, is there's a team that comes in hot. It could be the Giants. It could be another team, whoever it is. The Houston Texans have won a ton of games in a row right now. Yeah. Guys forget they started out 0-3. Yeah. So I'm taking the Texans here in a very close game, 14-13.
I love
the opposite of Mike's 14-13.
Yeah, we have no team will score over 20 in this game. We're sure of it.
That's funny.
This is good stuff. We got a lot of different opinions.
Yeah,
close.
Yeah,
we got close games, but
we're gonna mix it up for sure.
Yeah, we sure.
The last game of the weekend is Rams and the one thing I didn't mention, by the way, about the last game, because we talked about it a lot last year, and it probably should be a pet peeve. But the Texans, of course, have a day less rest because they played Monday night in the playoffs. We were all over that shit last year. We kind of didn't get after it this year, but there we go. Anyway, so this last game, Rams at Bears. I love this game, and I don't particularly like the Bears, but they've been impressing me. It's Novak and I talked for a long time before you guys came on today. We were on there a while. I think this is going to be the classic shootout, the thing I've been talking about all night tonight, the theme, the basketball game with the trading possessions at the end. This is probably a pick from my heart because I don't know why I don't want the Bears to win, but I don't, even though I like watching them play, but I'm done with them. I'm done with Caleb Williams. It's just, I want to shut it down this year. So probably a pick from the heart, what I might regret, but I've got the Rams over the Bears 40-38 in a shootout on a last second field goal.
It's so funny how close everything is. I feel the same exact way. Now I will say that, and I know Scott doesn't want to hear this, but this Ben Johnson is a very good coach. He has turned a team around, and they are for real. Caleb Williams is for real. I do actually like watching them play, but I'm going to again go with, while a fantastic coach, the better coach again when a game's is close. I'm going with McVay here, and I'm gonna call a 31-30 win for the Rams, and the Bears are going to go for a 2-point conversion to win and lose 31-30.
Oh, love it.
Damn.
31-30 win for the Rams. Okay. All right. Cardo.
Yeah. So looking at this game, aside from obviously just the football component, I think another big X factor in this game, and this is the most weather impacted game of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if you guys paid attention to the forecast in Chicago, but it's supposed to be like 15 degrees and windy as shit as well too. So now a couple things. The Los Angeles Rams, St. Louis, the franchise, whatever the Rams, they have not played a playoff game in freezing temperatures since 1983. What that has to do with this particular team, nothing. It's just a one of those odd stats, right? So I have this. So I think weather is going to be a big factor in this game. So you can game plan and do all those things, which I think this is going to be a highly entertaining game. I think it is going to be back and forth. But what I see, because of the weather, and it's hard to predict this, of course, but I do see I see it causing some turnovers. I think there's going to be some missed field goals. There's going to be missed extra points. There's going to be all kinds of wild shit in the cold and the wind in Chicago. But I have the Rams surviving. And that's a little bit. Same thing, Mike. Just like what you said. There's for some reason the Bears to me going back to like the Rex Grossman days when they made when they appeared in a Super Bowl against Peyton Manning and the Colts. Like what the fuck is Rex Grossman doing here? Like the Bears are always they're just the grossest NFL. They're one of the grossest NFL teams. And really any professional team for some reason. I cannot glom onto this team. I can't. So I know they keep proving me wrong because they just keep winning. But this is finally where the road ends, I think, and Williams is not going to be able to pull this game out of his ass. Give me the Rams 26-20. Not nearly as high scoring as you guys have, but I think a lot of that's going to have the weather going to keep it down a little bit. But I do have the Rams moving on.
Cardone, I also looked at the weather. It's funny that you said that because I was like, well, these two teams could explode in a non-weather game. In full disclosure, I already bet on the Bears getting 3.5 points in this game, getting 3.5. But I do believe they are going to lose. I think that it's going to be a close game, and I think that the Rams will pull it out. And I'll talk a little bit about Ben Johnson as sort of an offshoot of a pet peeve, but. Well, actually, we have a question about him too, so we'll talk about him a little bit later here. But I think that this Bears team is one that's fought hard. They almost lost to the Packers, who limped into the playoffs. Then again, the Rams almost lost to the Carolina Panthers, who were one of only 5 teams who have had a losing record, and the only team that's ever had a losing record to make the playoffs twice is the Carolina Panthers. But before I give all those stats at the end of the day, I have the Rams winning this game 21-20.
21-20. So here's what's interesting.
Bears cover.
Here's what's interesting about our pick. So all 4 of us agree that the NFC Championship game is going to be LA Seattle. All 4 of us have picked the LA Seattle NFC Championship game. Every one of us has a different AFC Championship game.
It's pretty awesome.
That's good.
So, Novak has Denver, Houston. I have Buffalo, New England. Cardone has Denver, New England, and Scott has Buffalo, Houston. So
love it.
Four different AFC Championship games, but we're in lockstep on the NFC Championship game.
I think up until Buffalo or New England not New England, Green Bay losing to Chicago in the last minute last time, I still had my preseason Buffalo Green Bay Super Bowl alive.
Not me.
I'll tell you what's impressive: the NFC West. Three of the final 4 teams in the NFC. So that's just impressive, man. Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think my Super Bowl pick might have been 49ers Bills. So that's still alive, although on life support. But yeah.
All right. I'll go to pet peeves. By the way, I never gave a shout out from last week. Novak's rant about the Jets. Very well received. I had people reaching out going, oh my God, that's the best rant ever. So Novak, kudos on the rant.
Yeah, man. It felt good to get it off my chest. I got to be honest.
It was
felt
good.
Great afterwards.
We did post it as a single, like sort of a special cut. So it is out there on its own for those that want to listen. But I'll let you lead with pet peeves.
Oh, you're going to me. Okay. So I got to watch myself on this first pet peeve. Second one will be a quick one. But my first pet peeve, and this is why I got to be careful, is people that talk too much. You ever meet these guys in particular? So I dealt with this at work this week. And I hope this guy's not watching this podcast because I'm basically calling him out. So me and my business partner are interviewing this dude, and we go, "Tell us about yourself." Right? Very simple thing. He starts launching into, well, I started back in 93 and I'm doing this. And he's going, I'm 10 minutes into this like introduction. And he goes, you guys know, Bill Johnson or whatever his name was. And we're like,
Johnson
no.
from sales.
Yeah. We're like, no, we don't know who he is. And he's going, yeah, so I'm at the Marriott in Sarasota and I'm telling Bill, Bill, I don't like how we're doing our pipeline management. And I'm going, is this guy freaking real? So I go, and so I stop him. I go, what year is this? He goes, oh, this is 2003. I'm like, 2003? I got 23 more years of this shit? Dude, can people be more self-aware? So my pet peeve, like, I had to stop him. I'm so angry at this point. So he's like, well, 10 minutes later, tell us about yourself. My explanation, I had like 10 seconds. I'm like, I do this. I've done that. Thanks, done. And he goes, well, that was quick. And I'm like, that's the way it should be, dude. So my
Take a social cue.
Yeah, right. People that talk too much. And like Ted Stryker, right? In Airplane, when he's telling his story,
Yes.
people are trying to kill themselves.
The skeleton
Hanging
next
themselves
to
on a plane, stabbing
Guys, like,
themselves. One guy was trying to light himself on
gasoline,
fire.
And yeah. And my quick one at the end for the NFL. Can we be done with Kirk Herbstreit calling NFL games? Just stop it. I love him as a college guy. He is fantastic. But at one point during the Bear game, he goes, there's a nice read by Caleb Williams to find number 85. 85 is Cole Kmet, dude. He's been in the league for like 7 years. You don't know his name? Don't be calling NFL games if you can't mention the guys. And he's
Number
mentioning
85.
like all these guys back in their college days. I don't care. They were in college 15 years ago. I don't care what he did at, USC.
Yeah.
He's a wuss.
Move on. Go to college. You're great there. Stay there. Go away. So those are my two pet peeves.
So I'll go next. I sort of gave let the genie out of the bottle on the first one. But guys, Tony Romo in this past weekend was absolutely horrible calling the Bills Jacksonville game. For some reason, and I don't know where it was, he decided to tell us numerous times how much Jacksonville deserved to be in the playoffs, what a good team they were, how they could possibly, be a contender this year. And then he made the comment at one point, whoever wins this game has a good shot of going to the Super Bowl. Well, of course they do, because you only have to win one more game after this. I don't know where it came from, but he made it sound like the rest of the nation didn't think the Jaguars were a good team and they shouldn't have been in the playoffs.
Didn't they win like 13 games? I mean,
yeah. They had home field advantage. They won the division.
I thought
he
that's
started.
right.
He started off the broadcast with this like rambling, like, I think that Bills have got a shot. If they play well, I think they can win, but maybe they won't. I don't know. No one really knows who's going to win. No shit, dude. No one knows who's going to win these games. God.
It was odd. It really was odd. And I really wasn't paying much attention. I kind of saw Scott's text about it. And then I started and I'm thinking, yeah, he has been doing that. And then like from that point on, it was like in Tony Romo's mind, the football world came to that game thinking, the Jaguars, they are the Jaguars, they stink. And he wanted to make sure we knew they were a pretty good team this year. And he was relentless. And you just want to say, Romo, people sitting down and watching the playoffs, we know Jacksonville's good. We're okay with it. We're used to it. It was bizarre.
And even at the end of the
attributing
game,
that to, I was gonna say maybe because they, all they do is play AFC South opponents every single week. So they don't play outside their division, and that division's not televised nationally. So I don't know if there's a television contract for AFC South games, because I'm quite certain I didn't see the Titans once this year, or so maybe that's what Romo's referring to, the AFC South only opponent schedule.
In the last 2 minutes of the game, he had said two different times, the Jaguars, they do belong here. The Jaguars are a tough team. And then as soon as the game is over, he again congratulates the Jaguars, saying, this has been a hell of a season for the Jaguars. Well, no shit. It's a hell of a season for any team that wins a division. I don't know why he was so over the top about it. I don't know if he's slighted by the Bills in some way. I really don't know what was the motivation. But once I started picking up on it, I was like a dog on a bone. Like what is going on here? And every
Oh, he,
time he said something, I just red flags kept
Well,
going
guys,
up.
you know what it is, Scott? We say this all the time, right? I love using the word gaslight because Romo, you're the one who thinks that. Like we as football
Yeah.
fans who will pay attention to stuff and like follow our the league, like
Yeah.
we know they're good. Like Romo, it's you who thinks they're not that good, and you're not sure how the fuck they showed up in a division, winning a division. So you're doing that for yourself, not for us, not for the audience, asshole.
Yes, it's so true. And he's gotten so much worse. He came out, he was actually really good, and he's
Yeah.
hard to listen to all of a sudden. And I'll gotta give credit where credit's due. Brady is actually really good.
Brady's
Like I
pretty good.
love the breakdown of games. That combo, him and little baby KK, whatever his name is, that is by far the best duo out there right now.
Yeah, and I think that whole the combo between Nance and Romo now seems really cliched. Like Nance
Yes.
is he's doing his usual like broadcasting thing, and then Romo screaming, "Ah!" and
Yeah.
it just doesn't go together very well.
Yeah. Nance would just stick to golf and telling his goofy stories about serving the community and everything else.
So I had to bring this up too because we've heard talk about you know Ben Johnson. We've heard talk about Coach of the Year, things like that. I just want people to understand those coaches that win Coach of the Year. Some of them are okay, but there's a ton of them who flame out because they catch a genie in a bottle. So within 3 years of winning the Coach of the Year, these coaches were fired or they were let go by their teams. Ray Rhodes, Dick Duran,
Ray Rhodes.
Lovey Smith, Mike Smith. People even remember Mike
remember that.
Smith. He's from the
Falcons.
The Falcons.
He had the gray hair. Yeah.
Jason Garrett, Matt Nagy, Dable. Dable won Coach of the Year with the Giants his first season.
Yeah.
Stefanski, who last won in 23, he also won in 2020. And think about this: the last year who won the Coach of the Year. Can you guys remember who it was?
Last
year's
year.
Coach of the Year.
Who won last year? Shit.
Is it someone who got fired?
No, but he's probably not too secure for the next
Dan
2 years.
Campbell.
No,
Harbaugh?
No.
Jim Harbaugh? No.
Kevin O'Connell
Oh,
from the
with
Vikings.
Minnesota. Yeah.
Turns out
Yeah,
they
yeah,
should have
yeah.
given that award to Darnold.
And I think about this because I heard something said earlier when they were actually talking in the studio about John Harbaugh being available and him going to a team. And they said, well, you have to look at some of the teams this year who got great coaches. So the Patriots got Mike Vrabel. Look at the way he turned that team around. And the Bears got Ben Johnson. Look at the way he's turned that team around. Guys, Ben Johnson, he could be a great coach. He also could be Brian Dable and get lightning in a bottle for a year. You never know what's going to happen, especially when you have a team like the Bears that doesn't have a whole lot of depth. They could be subject to injuries. Remember at this same time last year, everyone was talking about Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels terrorizing the NFC East for the next 10 years. So don't put Ben Johnson in the same breath as an established coach like Mike Vrabel or someone else who's already taken a team to the playoffs until they've actually done something. So I hate this storytelling in the playoffs, and it just needs to stop.
I think we need to put Scott's most hated people, our referees, the Carolina Panthers, and Ben Johnson.
He
Let's just
hates
call it
Ben
what it
Johnson.
is.
Yeah.
He hates Ben Johnson.
Like he
I,
just
I,
hates-
I don't hate Ben Johnson. I hate the media portrayal of Ben
I know.
Johnson.
It's
You know,
Yeah.
and we're
I
gonna
will-
we're actually
I
gonna
think-
get to him in a question. So it's like,
Good.
Good.
I agree with you about the media portrayal of Ben Johnson and the,
It's true.
but I also think, man, it just seems like he's done a good job. But on the other hand, when I watch the Bears, I'm like, how are they doing this? This is like smoke
know.
and mirrors. Like,
we thought the same thing about the Redskins last year.
yeah, it was a
Oh,
similar
that's a good
feeling.
point. That's a
Very
good point.
similar
Yeah.
similar
right.
team. I agree with that.
That's a good.
Yeah,
That's a good comparison.
yeah, it is.
Great comparison.
Mikey,
Yeah, I've got two quick ones as well. My first one, it was funny because I had it written down, and then someone quoted the dick, and it fell right into my pet peeve. My pet peeve this week was, man, it happens in every sport now too. These athletes who refer to themselves as we. I can't stand it anymore. I can't take it. The first time I noticed it was NASCAR. Actually, was we had we thought we had we and in NASCAR sort of works. You got the driver, you got a pit crew guy,
yeah.
and then the crew chief or whatever. So it is like a unit, right? That's like a small unit. When you're talking to Aaron Rodgers and he says we, I'm like, what? You got a mouse in your pocket? Who the hell are you talking about? Like, what's going on? And it's rampant now throughout all of sports. Is these they talk about themselves like they're a corporation, which I believe they think they are. They're the money revenue generating wing of some massive corporation. But yeah, cut it out. Stop calling yourself we. It's okay to say I. Everyone says I. It doesn't make you sound. If you think I makes you sound like you're being selfish, we sound so much worse than I.
Yeah.
We just sounds like you're a dick being selfish. Like, just stop it. Stop it.
They do it in golf a lot too, which that one drives me nuts. Jordan Spieth
Golf.
is the worst because they always say we.
Speed
talking about his
started it.
He does. He's always talking about the caddy. Like the caddy's name is not listed under your name on the leaderboard. It's just you, dude. Like it's one person.
Like the ultimate solo person sport. We
Yes.
give it a rest. Give the we a rest.
Caddy.
My other pet peeve is that I realized watching the games this week that almost all the pet peeves I had throughout this year are gone. As I'm watching playoff games, I'm hanging out with my friends, I'm having a great time. I'm like, why am I enjoying football? And I realize it's because the fucking Giants aren't on. That's why. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a great time. I'm watching these, I'm watching refs keep drives alive, and I don't care because I want the game to be good. I'm like, yeah, good. Let's extend this drive. Let's get this down to the last 30 seconds. So my pet peeve is sort of that I have a lack of pet peeves because when the Giants are gone, like my whole world just opens up like a flower. Everything's just fine. So my pet peeve, I guess, is if you look at it that way, my pet peeve is the Giants for ruining this game that I love. Ruining it.
There's a lot to be said about stress-free watching playoff football.
Yeah.
There is.
No doubt.
Because it's so true. We could watch the end of the games and be like, "Whoa, do that," and then coming back the other way, "Whoa, look at this!" and knowing that there's miserable fans of fan bases out there that are just absolutely muttering to themselves, and we're just cracking open another beer. Who cares?
Yeah,
what a game!
We're pointing out the same things, but we're laughing about them.
Yeah.
You see a guy run for 6 yards on first down, you see the flag, and Cardone and I first down holding. Yeah. There it is. We're dying. We just have, it's the same shit. All year we've been like old men with canes going, first down holding is bullshit.
We were saying, we're making fun at the party the other day. We're like, I would love the referee on first down, first holding. Because we like to call these on first down. It's the drive is just they still have 3 more downs to get a first down. So it's first and 20. Everyone calm down. A lot of teams survive a first and 20 situation. We also have the third down, illegal contact in our back pocket, 2 more plays from now. Everybody watch second down without the fear of a flag coming out. I'll talk to you in 2 more downs. Okay.
Yeah. You can freely watch second down. We're not calling any
second down. Nothing's going to happen. Third down.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And then third down, I told you I'd be back. Third down, we got illegal contact on defense. So everyone that was upset on the holding call on first and 20, you're now got an automatic first down. Defense, I'll get you in a minute. Don't worry. Everyone calm down. Enjoy the next play. I'll talk in a few minutes.
That's a playoff.
That's what I would love to hear.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Cardone, what's funny about that too is just that we always talk about not only the penalties but when we're watching those games and we're sitting there so excited and everything else, it's like, why are we excited? Because our teams suck. I think about the way I watched the Giants at the end of the year. The last game of the year, if you guys remember, they played at 4:00 with only one other team. So if you watched the red zone during that Giants game, you could watch every play of the Giants and every play of the other game, which is what I did. and it was as fun as you're going to get because I'm not sitting there just watching the Giants. So in the playoff game that was on Monday night, I watched the Manning brothers for a lot of it. They had Ben Roethlisberger as a guest. They had some decent guests on, and I didn't have to sit there and worry about watching the game on pins and needles or anything like that.
I mean, Scott and I were openly mocking the Panther fans at the bar.
Yeah.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
I was just going to make reference to that, guys.
Jeremy
Novak,
Chin.
yeah. It's how much fun do we have watching other fans watch their playoff game, not having a fucking clue what they should do next, reacting to anything that comes up on it, not being aware of anything, no football knowledge whatsoever, none of it, not questioning anything, not barking at the screen why you're going for it on fourth down when you shouldn't take the points. No one says a word. Ever.
They got a touchdown or a field goal and place went bananas. They had a massive stop on third down. Crickets. No one they didn't know what to do with it.
The importance of a defensive stop and getting off the field. No one has any idea that that's a big fucking play.
No.
We were on the other side of the bar. I could hear the guy pouring the beer out of the tap 100 feet away.
The best part about that was Jeremy Chin, the guy in the Jeremy Chin jersey. He didn't know whether we were mocking him or not because we would do keep pounding when the Panthers gave up something bad, and we do keep pounding when they did something good. So
they couldn't figure it out. I tell you,
they
kept looking back should I be mad at these guys or not? And then they'd get a first down and we'd be like, keep pounding. They were unsure.
Oh man,
Cardone.
Yeah, I got a real quick one. This is one you could apply this to any sport, and it's at the end of a game, a playoff game, when one team's season's about to end, and it's a blowout. So we had a blowout on Monday night, right? At the end of the game, after the Dick's fumble 6 and then the Dick pick 6, Houston had a 30-6 lead. And I cannot stand when they coming back from a commercial break or something. The game's over, and the graphic still has the Houston/Pittsburgh logo at New England promoting the game next week. I'm like, will you take off the Steeler logo? And then these jackoffs, whoever it is, they have to say, barring an unforeseen miracle here by the Steelers or something like that, we should expect to see Houston. I'm like, knock it off. The game's over. Just put the fucking Houston Texan logo up there. And next week, Houston at New England, times to be determined. They do that in every sport. It drives me crazy, guys. When and then sure enough, it was Buck and Aikman. Buck and Aikman doing the Monday night game. And I don't know if you guys it's one of those little. It's a subtle pet peeve. It's all the little things in the game that we just in the broadcast and stuff that we pay attention to. And that one has always driven me nuts. And sure enough, they trotted it out there. With a minute left to go in the game, 30-6, and there's the little graphic, Houston or Pittsburgh at New England. I'm like, stop it, please.
I don't know if you guys remember this, and I don't remember which game. I'll bet Cardone remembers and tells me what game. Unless he might have been at the stadium watching this game, so maybe not. But I think it was the Giants and the Bears, the 90 season, the first playoff game of the 90 season. They did that. It came up on the screen and it said NYG/CHI at San Francisco for the next week, right? And Madden wrote NYG over it on the telestrator while Summerall was talking about it. He's like, because it was over, the Giants win that 30-3 or something.
It was
big game.
It's funny you said that, Mike, because I was just going to say to Cardone, if Summerall and Madden were doing that game, they would have said, this is Houston versus Denver.
Exactly.
I'm 90% sure that was the game while Summerall was going, and the Giants or the Bears, and Madden's like, it's NYG.
Buck
just
falls
wrote it.
Joe Buck falling to the trap. He has to say barring an unforeseen, no, Buck, just stop it. Just say next week, Houston at New England. Let's go.
Shills. They're shills in the NFL. Stop it.
So we got a bunch of questions this week. Peacock Corner is back in full effect. He asks, what's our reaction to Ben Johnson screaming, I fucking hate the Packers with the cameras rolling? Is this good or bad? I touched upon this before. I don't have a hatred for Ben Johnson. What I hate is that we've anointed this guy as some sort of like coaching genius in his first year, and we've seen time and again that's gone sideways. Some of the behaviors, the shirt pulling off, all this other stuff, it's great in year one, but I don't know how sustainable that is, and I'm not sure if it's a good thing to be screaming this stuff or not, because at some point you always hit your upcomings. Now, I, I say that as we've watched Nick Sirianni have 2 Super Bowl wins, so it's really tough for me to go back and rectify that. But
Uh,
I just don't like guys that get their due before it's due.
All I know is that if that were my coach and he were screaming about it and it was saying F the Patriots, I would be loving every second of that. So yes, I don't like it because I don't really like him, but I'm jealous. I would love my coach to do that. To see the Jets crowding around him, fired up, ready to get out there next week and kick some ass. Yeah, I'd love it.
Yeah.
No,
I will
Cardone, can
say
you
this, though,
imagine
Novak.
the Giants?
Novak, you had a guy who was
Rex Ryan.
similar to this,
Totally.
and it played well. You made 2 championship games. It played well when you're winning. It does not play well when you lose.
Yeah, well, we've been losing for 16 years. I'll take those 2 years back. So yes, but you're
Cardone,
right.
can you
It's a
imagine
it's a short-term thing.
beating the Eagles in Philadelphia in the playoffs, and having our coach come into the locker room and say, "Fuck the Eagles"? I'd run through a wall for that guy.
I'd love it.
I would run through a wall cliche. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm certainly fine with him saying, like, because listen, man, you're battling. Yeah, like it's okay to hate another team in your division. It's it's okay to, should he be saying it and having to be caught on camera and all that? Probably not, but fuck it, he said it, and I'm okay with it, man. I don't know.
I mean, he's given the old billboard material argument, right? But we've talked about
Sure.
that, how much of a fallacy that might be, and the way those 2 franchises are headed, I don't know if billboard is going to matter next year when the Bears play the Packers. Some media knucklehead will bring it up, but
So Peacock also asks, is it dangerous to give the keys to the kingdom to Harbaugh if it means like he has the GM and the coach role? For me, look, guys, I'll give the keys to anyone who can turn this franchise around.
Yeah.
This franchise can't get lower. I don't care if you give him the keys of the kingdom. He can't fuck it up any more than it has been.
yeah.
Nah, give him whatever, man. No, not dangerous at all. This, like you just said it, Scott. I mean, this franchise has been among the worst, the bottom 3, 4 in the last 12, 14, 15 years, whatever. He could do whatever he wants, Harbaugh. He's proven himself. He deserves. I don't care if day one, give him the fucking Costanza parking spot next to Wilhelm and Steinbrenner, whatever he wants, man. Just give him everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, could it be considered dangerous? It could be, but not for us. What are we going to get worse under John Harbaugh? I mean,
That's true. that is true.
I don't see it as worse. I don't see how you could look at this, even if you say it's a little dangerous to turn the kingdom over to him, which I don't disagree with that sentiment, but like, big deal. So we still suck for another 3 or 4 years under him until he gets fired. We had to take a shot. We got to do something.
And then he also asks, which hire would make us the angriest? And I'll start with this. To me, and I know there are some people that say he's been a consistent winner, but he's also had consistently high talent. I would be angriest with Mike McCarthy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if I were you guys and it's anyone but Harbaugh and maybe Stefanski, I would be livid. Anyone but those 2.
I agree with Novak.
With what you have and what you can offer, if you don't get one of those 2 at the very least, I would be ripping pissed.
Out of the names mentioned for the Giants job, the one that if it had come to fruition would have made me the angriest was Marcus Freeman, the Notre Dame coach. That when I heard that one started to get kicked about, I'm like, man, if that happens, I fucking give up. I give up.
Yeah, I don't, McCarthy was he. That's as soon as you asked the question, Scott, I didn't have an immediate answer in my head, and then so I was doing my mental Rolodex, and yeah, McCarthy, when his name initially came up, like whatever, a couple weeks ago, I was like, holy shit, God, no! I'll just have to go to Morocco or somewhere and
Yeah.
disappear. But
That screams
yeah,
Ray Hanley.
but yeah, God, just any yeah. Guys, if it's not Harbaugh or Stefanski at this point, yeah, I'm going to be pissed off at anybody else. Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
So my friend Mike has some questions, and I'm going to read this one verbatim. So he says, "Consider this. It's there's a question in there, but it's hidden under stats. Consider this: the Steelers haven't won a playoff game in 10 years. The Cowboys only won a couple playoff games in 30 years. The Chargers, Lions, Bills, yada yada yada, haven't won zero champion or have won zero championships. Isn't that arguably worse than the Jets and Giants being considered bottom feeder teams since 2016?" And look, I Mike and I had this conversation when we were
We actually did.
in the Super Bowl. We said we would give up the next 10 years to win a Super Bowl. So to me, I still hold the Super Bowl sacrilegious over anything else. And we won 4 of those in my lifetime. We've been in 5. I I hate where we are now, but I also appreciate the success that we've had. I don't know if it's better to compare ourselves to the Steelers and Cowboys over that time frame. Um, I hate that we're bottom feeder teams right now, but I think we're a hell of a lot better than the Cowboys in the modern era since say 1990.
Yeah.
This is always a tough one. We've talked about this a number of times, and Super Bowl championships trump all of it. They just do. And I get reminded by whenever I start barking by other in other friends that are fan bases, they say they knock, Cardone, like, will you shut up, man? You got 4 of these, like I know a Bear fan. He goes, I have 1, man. He goes, you take 1. And then we don't have to, we got our buddy Novak right here. So this is a delicate thing to answer with Novak on here because God, nothing's more suffering than the Jets, but that's the one thing that as Giant fans, it's still, especially this time of year, because then when they show, when it gets to Super Bowl week and they go all the, the NFL Network runs all the games and all the highlights and all that stuff that goes there, like there they are, the Giant. That's what Parcells talked about. He goes, it never goes away. So the fact that you can point to the Giants championships in 4 different decades, the 86, 90, that's what we have to live on right now. It's hard to win these things. It's really hard. So that it never goes away. They did it. It's been done, and we can still hang our hat on 4 Lombardi trophies.
By the way, we still have 3 years to win one in this decade.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah. And I saw a stat the other day.
Harbaugh.
Yeah. So the NFC. So the team that has won the most Super Bowls in the last 40 years in the NFC, New York Giants. Think about that.
I was thinking,
who's won the most Super Bowls in the NFC? It's the New York Giants in the last 40 years, going back to 86 season. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mentioned it earlier when we talked about the potential of Harbaugh going to Atlanta. I sort of answered this question, right? Because I said, look, I understand that last 15, almost up to 20 years now, this has been hard. This has been not 20, but you know what I mean? This has sucked. And yeah, Atlanta's been a better franchise than us over the last 15 or 17 years. But when you back up a little bit, there's no comparison. The Giants are going through a rough period right now. But, Cardone just made the great point about 40 years. The way I was going to say it is, like, I really started paying attention to football about 1982, I guess, was when I really started locked in. I was about 12 years old, 11. And I really sort of locked into the Giants at that time. I would not trade my career fandom for a Cowboys fandom since that date.
Oh.
No, I mean, it's not only do we have more Super Bowls than them in that window, but we've had some of the most amazing Super Bowl, unfathomable Super Bowl wins and playoff wins. I wouldn't trade that. Matter of fact, there's no franchise I'd trade with other than possibly the Patriots. But outside of that, no.
I'll just go quickly. I would trade with any fan base in the NFL with their experience except for one, and that's the Browns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would anyone. Give me maybe the Lions. Actually, I know we've had a couple years, but like other than the Browns, the Jets are the laughing stock of the league and have been for decades. So yeah, I would
even
trade
the
everyone.
Jaguars.
100%, definitely.
They've only been around since '95, and they've won some divisions and stuff. So
But they've never won a Super Bowl.
They got a better chance now.
Lions? I don't know. To me, the Jets, I understand your frustration, Novak. I mean, the Jets haven't been in the Super Bowl in a long time. They've only won one, but it still is a lot better than those teams that haven't won a Super Bowl.
I would say fair. The only thing I do kind of hang my hat on is I do think, and I'm not just saying because of the Jets, it was the most important victory in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
Change everything. Yeah.
So this next question is for
Well,
Novak.
let me get one more thing in on that one because it's really kind of brought home Jet fandom for me. And I don't know if I texted it to this group. I don't know if everyone saw it though. The Colts still have more AFC titles than the Jets.
Oh my God.
AFC East.
AFC East. Yes, I'm sorry. AFC East.
That's
titles.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is
Sorry,
correct.
Novak. That's another great one.
They haven't been in the AFC East since 2000, and they have more AFC East victories than us. Championships or division championships, whatever.
Yeah.
Bert,
That was
fucking
go
Jones.
ahead. I'm sorry. That one. I had to get that out in this podcast somewhere.
Bert fucking Jones.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this question is for actually Novak. So it's knowing what we know now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wish the Jets stuck with Darnold longer? And also, if the Raiders take Mendoza, do you want the Jets to take the next highest rated quarterback or take a chance on a guy flying under the radar?
So we're running long, so I'll say two quick things. Knowing what I know now, of course, why would I want Zach Wilson anywhere near the New York Jets? So yes, I would have stuck with Darnold. We could have traded back that second pick instead of taking Zach Wilson and loaded up on defense. So yes, 100%. At the time, I wanted Sam Darnold gone. I was clearly wrong. As far as the draft now, I want nothing to do with any quarterback after Mendoza. I don't think anyone is worth a first-round pick. If they want to take a flyer on a guy in the third and fourth round, fine. But I would rather, my goal now, I want to suck again next year. I want to be 2-15, get the number one pick, and then with my 3 first-round draft choices, have my pick of any quarterback I want, plus 2 additional star players later in the draft, and Mike Tomlin as my coach. Just saying.
I like that. That's if you guys got Mike Tomlin and had that draft equity, that would be great.
That's what
Stars are
that's my goal
starting
right there.
to. Those stars are kind of looking like they could line up.
Suck again, Jets. Do it again.
So I'm not going to go into Mike's last question because it's very long-winded. We are short on time, like Scott said. But I will say this: it's basically around dead. If you're putting together a band of dead musicians, and I'm not going to go into dead musicians. I will say this: we were at the bar during the Panthers game, and the news broke about Bob Weir dying from the Grateful Dead. I know my friend Mike, as well as Giant Mike, were Dead fans. So, guys, Bob Weir was a sports fan. He loved the San Francisco 49ers. It's another, legend gone. And as we get older, we're seeing the legends going, and the worst thing about these legends going is they're getting closer and closer in age to me. So, Bob Weir, rest in peace. I'd like
Bobby.
to see in the different playoff games, they did play Dead songs going into commercials, which I thought
that was awesome.
was pretty good.
Nice. Yeah. Good tribute. Yeah.
And yet Keith Richards remains alive.
Yeah.
Go figure that.
Looked dead since the 60s. He's still hanging in there.
He's going to outlive them all.
You guys got anything else tonight?
Yeah, I got a little quick segment here, like at the end of PTI, where we do the errors and omissions. I wrote down some errors and omissions tonight. So I got.
Do I have errors?
A couple. Not bad.
Oh, shit.
So we got Lloyd Lizzie Young. I looked up from Hollywood, California. So that was we omitted
Hollywood?
that. Yeah. And even though Scott impressed us with what was the word he impressed us with?
Compensatory.
Oh, compensatory.
Compensatory, which was just a home run. He also said that someone was going to get their upcomings, which is supposed to be, of course, come-uppance. And he also said that he called a player or Super Bowl sacrilegious. Yeah. I believe he meant sacred. So there.
So yeah. I have not completely not been drinking, Mike. So that's good. That's good to point that out.
I think this is going to be a recurring theme now. I like this.
I like when you keep us in check, like the PTI people do.
Yes.
My favorite of the year is going to be when Scott said, "I don't think I know, but I think I do."
I don't think I said it that well, though. I think I said, I don't think
I know, but I think I do.
No. My favorite was like, what makes you a diehard fan? And Scott's like, well, sometimes you just got to say, hey.
The wisdom in that.
Yeah.
So next week we'll be back to recap all of the hopefully good games in the divisional round, and we'll bring our insight. Hopefully the Giants have made a decision on a coach. If they haven't, we'll talk about that too. So we are the Three Angry Giant Fans of the Jet Fan Podcast. Your host Scott, Giant Mike, Cardone, and Jets fan Novak. And guys, until next week, we will see you.
See ya.
Adios.